Started. Welcome everyone to the special session of June 24th, 2021. This is a special session, regular meeting session. There he is. Please note that all council members are present. However, Chair Blair asked if he could be excused for tonight. How'd I do, Rich?
Good.
Okay. With that, I will turn the time over to Councilmember Tversky to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. So please rise if you are able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
A little rusty on this. Thank you. Please take a moment of silence with me. Thank you, everyone. As most of you know, we are here to discuss one item, and I cannot get the one item on the agenda pulled up for whatever reason. I apologize for that. I am trying to get this up. It's not agreeing with me tonight. So the one item is to discuss the joint resolution of the banning of fireworks, and I will get it up on my, I'm sorry, the Zoom is not working for me tonight for some reason.
Yeah, and Vice Chair or Acting Chair White, we do have the Fire Marshal Kevin Brown and Assistant Chief Shelby Willis here from the fire department to kind of discuss the proposal for you.
Thank you. I'll turn the time over to them. I have it pulled up on my phone, so please take it away.
We will. Thank you. Thank you all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Great. Thank you all for allowing us to be here with you this evening. I'd like to introduce myself to everyone who is watching and listening. My name is Shelby Willis, and I'm the Deputy Fire Chief with Ogden City. And with me is the Fire Marshal Kevin Brown. Our Fire Chief, Mike Matthew, is unable to be with us tonight. The purpose of this meeting is for the fire department to recommend to you a joint resolution that prohibits open flame, smoking outside of structures where vegetation is present, and the ignition and deployment of fireworks within Ogden City from now through November 15th. The reason for this recommendation is due to our drought conditions. We have continued elevated temperatures, and we're concerned that this drought will continue for many months. Typically, our wildland season begins June 1st. This year, the Forestry Service contacted us at the beginning of April and asked us to be prepared to begin our wildland mitigation practices as of April 15th. We have had numerous fires since April 15th with wildland and brush. Most recently, we had a fire at 3400 Parker Drive. This fire started on a Saturday morning. It grew to 8 acres, and there were 3 fire departments on scene. We were able to mitigate this fire in about 3 hours. In the afternoon, the fire rekindled. We were back out to the scene. Again, 3 fire departments. We were there for 3 or 4 hours. Some of our crews maintained a fire watch throughout the evening, and over the next 3 days, we maintained a presence at the scene. We had to borrow 2 claw trucks. We had chainsaws. We had to remove trees that had been burned that were now damaging or in process of falling onto the roadway. And we had to dig up vegetation that was deep seated in order to mitigate these fires. And as you may remember, last June, we had a fire at the mouth of Ogden Canyon. This fire started in the evening, and it took us about 8 hours to get this fire under control. We had over 20 units on scene with multiple fire departments. This fire threatened structures and it did damage city infrastructure. The interesting perspective of this fire isn't only the number of resources and individuals we had on the scene for mitigation efforts, it was the amount of water that we used. We used over 4 million gallons of water to extinguish one fire. In addition, we were there for several days. We had to use the drone over 2 days because we had to find hotspots and prevent this fire from continuing to grow. So our concern today is our increased drought conditions. We have an elevated risk now as a result within the city of Ogden. That is why we're here today for a recommendation to you for this joint resolution to prohibit open flame and ignition sources in the city of Ogden now until November 15th. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions?
I just have a quick question. I noticed people were posting pictures of a fire just from yesterday up on by the golf course.
We did. We had a small fire last night about 9:15, and it was towards the middle of the golf course. It was about 200 feet in length. We were able to get in there in under about 30 minutes and extinguish the fire. We do this almost daily.
Great, thank you so much.
The question I have, does this affect fireworks at all?
I can answer that. It would affect fireworks. It would restrict fireworks within the city limits of Ogden.
Okay.
It isn't anticipated to affect public displays of fireworks, is it, or is it not?
The way the resolution is written, public displays of fireworks, like a licensed vendor with insurance, that would be evaluated on a case-by-case basis.
So that is still available by a permit and be evaluated for their safety protocols and things of that nature, is that right?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, Acting Chair. Can private citizens file for a document like that to have a neighborhood demonstrate their fireworks at all, or is that not possible?
Was that chair for fire? Or I'm sorry, was that question for fire or for vice chair?
I think he's probably asking you, or Mr. Stratford, one of the,
So in order for a citizen to apply for a permit, they would have to be a licensed operator through the state fire marshal, and they would have to provide insurance for that show.
Okay.
I have a question also, Vice Chair.
Mhm.
I know that some people were asking if this resolution, in fact, then could be enforced the same way the other restrictions were enforced.
So we would enforce to the full extent of our abilities. It's going to be all hands on deck for the holiday weekend. We've been working closely with OPD to have staff callbacks, and we're going to have staff callbacks as well.
So it's the $1,000, possible up to $1,000 fine.
That's correct. Class B misdemeanor up to $1,000 fine.
Plus the cost of fighting the fire if they caused one, is that right?
If they're found to be negligent and there are damages involved, they could be charged with those costs.
I just have one more question. I apologize. I had a constituent ask about how, like I was at the grocery store today and I saw the signs right next to the fireworks about when they're allowed to be sold, but they actually had the map of the current restrictions up there, etc. Is there any responsibility on our part to distribute that information, or are those vendors kind of just responsible for posting that themselves?
Absolutely. If this resolution passes tonight, we would be at all retailers as soon as possible to post the updated restrictions, a new map, city website. We've kind of pre-planned that in case you decide to go forth with the resolution.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have one more question for fire. Does this resolution, how does it affect the retailers and the ones who are selling the fireworks? Is there any restrictions to them?
They would still be allowed to sell fireworks. It just, of course, within Ogden City, they could not legally be used.
So I do have another quick question. I've been asked why the restrictions have always been on the east side of Harrison. Can you give a quick little background on why that is, why that has been considered and what we've done and why we've mapped that out?
Yeah, I'll attempt to speak to that. If legal wants to correct me, I hope they'll jump in. My understanding of state law is there are 2 times when I can recommend restrictions to the council to vote on, and that's historical hazard or existing hazard. And so typically, like the restrictions we put in place back at the beginning of June, that was based on historical hazard. And those are maps and predetermined areas that we have already submitted to the state and the county that they expect us to have restrictions in if conditions warrant. This year, we feel that we're working off the existing hazardous conditions due to the drought that Chief Willis talked about. And so that's what we're recommending to you tonight, is to consider the existing hazardous condition for this resolution.
And those maps have to be in, my understanding is May-ish, is that correct? May 1st, is that?
May 1st, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Any other questions?
If not, Vice Chair White, I'm ready to give a motion if you'd like.
Right, sure.
What if I'm supposed to say acting chair or vice chair?
I don't know. Yeah.
No disrespect, I apologize.
No, it is none taken for sure. I don't know either.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to propose that we adopt proposed joint resolution of the Ogden City Council and Ogden City Mayor prohibiting the outdoor use of open flames and ignition sources, including fireworks within Ogden City boundaries through November 15th, 2021.
I'll second that. I think that resolution is 2021-5.
Thank
We
you.
have we have a motion by Councilmember Chaburka and second by Councilmember Heyer to adopt the joint resolution. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Chaburka,
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Lopez,
Aye.
Councilmember Nadolski,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Acting Chair White.
Aye. That passes.
Acting Chair White, can I pontificate for just a minute though? I struggled at length with this until we received I received the state statute, and I want to read part of it so that it might answer some of our constituents' concerns as to why we didn't before and maybe why we do now. If it's state statute 15A-5-202.5 and 1.1, if the existing or historical hazardous environmental condition exists in a municipality, so talking about us, the legislative body, which is the city council of the municipality, may prohibit the ignition or use of an ignition source in, and this is 1.1.1, mountainous, brush covered, forest covered, or dry grass covered areas. Now, normally we don't have dry grass covered areas, but this year where we've asked our citizens to restrict watering, we have dry grass and we have dry other vegetation that also would ignite much quicker than normal. I am quite upset at our legislature for tying our hands on this issue and then running and hiding and leaving this to us after they've made this thing that requires I think admittedly, a very broad reading and definition of the statute. I think we need to call on our legislators to add another section to this statute, which gives the municipalities clear direction to do this in circumstances such as that we find ourselves in today. This is very gray area in my mind, and I am not one to break the law. I just really struggle with that, and I hope we all do. But because of the circumstances, that's what got me to the yes vote. Otherwise, it would have been really hard. I really appeal to our legislators to fix this thing. And that's really all I have to say.
May I make comment?
Please.
And yeah, I appreciate your sentiments there, Councilmember Heyer. And yeah, I definitely encourage people to do that as well. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everybody that was involved with making this happen in such an expedited process. I just appreciate the leadership at the fire department, the administration, staff, the council staff, Vice Chair White for stepping up and kind of managing this on our behalf. And I just really appreciate everybody for jumping on board.
Vice Chair.
Yep.
I second what has been said here. I think it's very prudent for us to contact our legislators and let them know that they've dropped the ball on this one. They need to go through and solidify some clarity in this ordinance that they have in, and give us the responsibility or provide direction for us in these extreme areas there. I also like to thank Mark Strafford in our legal counsel for adding some wisdom to this resolution. And I think this is a team effort, and I appreciate not only the fire, but also you, Vice Chair White, but all of our council members stepping up to the plate at this time and taking the responsibility that we needed to take to show leadership in the capacity of a resolution. My desire for the 4th and 24th, which are important days in July to us, because it has some historic significance to us, but I would like to admonish everyone to be safe and to use wisdom and to use common knowledge. If it's not right to set off fireworks, let's not do it. We have plenty of public events that we can enjoy the fireworks, but let's use a lot of wisdom and counsel in what we're doing this year. This is a year to be wise and not foolish.
Great words.
Acting Chair, one quick comment.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for the work that's gone into this too, both on the council staff, council member, and administrative side. I don't struggle with the decision. I feel like it's a pretty easy decision for me. I feel like the statute is plenty clear for me to have a clean conscience. I know to feel that we have the authority to do what we've done. So in my view, I think it wouldn't hurt to talk to legislators, but I don't think the authority issue is of concern for me. I think we have plenty of authority and plenty of clarity in statute to do what we've done. So thank you very much for all the legwork that went into making that happen. I know it's been a lot of work. Chair White.
I was going to say, Councilmember Lopez, I mean, you're the only one left.
Well, I just want to echo what's been said. I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank
the fire department for their presentation, the administration, our council staff. But I'd like to especially thank you because as you know, and as my colleagues know, that sometimes behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, I like to push hard for things that I feel very strongly about, and you know, and I welcome robust debates and strong conversations. And in this case, it warrants for me to say that you've shown tremendous leadership, and in such a quick turnaround, you are instrumental to help us get this done. So credit where credit is due. Thank you so much. I hope you had the support that you deserve from our council chair. I hope he's watching from wherever he's at. And thank you very much for all you did.
Thank you.
Vice Chair?
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank Janine Ellen Smith and our council staff. They are the ones that really pulled the horses along, and we're very fortunate to have Janine as our director. The staff we have, they're very professional in what they're doing, and along with what Louise had to say, but I think Janine and our staff needs a big thank you also.
They did a yeoman's task for sure. That is for sure. Well, I think
Chair White, Vice Chair.
Yeah.
So I'm not, Councilmember Stevens, I'm not trying to take away from the importance of what everyone else has done and the importance of what our council staff has done, but they couldn't have done what our vice chair did, which is to pull the trigger and initiate these and make the decision that because she's in leadership and she's our vice chair, she was going to step up to the plate. She decided she was going to step up to the plate and to help us accomplish this. And so that is, I have been very outspoken about in the past. I've been outspoken about the importance that I have and that I place in our leadership and the significance of being in that chair and in those chairs. And so I'm not taking anything away from all the hard work that went in, but that's the reason why I said what I said. So just to clarify, thank you.
Again, thank you. It's definitely a worthy issue to be stepping up to. And I too want to thank everyone involved and include the mayor in this. This is not just us pushing the ball down the hill for sure. We've had you know, a lot of conversations with administration and administrative staff. So this is a big lift. This is one that, as Council Member Heyer has said, that it's a lot of people we're going out on a limb, and I appreciate that all of us are doing it together. So we've had some wonderful feedback. We've had some other feedback as well. So I just, this is great. I hope that we are able to enforce and do what we need to do. I guess fireworks went on sale today, so it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out tomorrow and through November 15th, apparently.
Can I make one more thing? I think it's important. I intended to do this, but you know, there is a saying, and you know, it's never wrong to do the right thing, and I think that's what happened today. Murky as it may have been to this point, I think it was the right thing to do, and therefore here we are. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out.
I just had one additional thing to say, and then I won't say anything later, but I just want to say that my neighbors were talking to me because they all received the notice today about the water conservation. So it was a conversation in my neighborhood today, which I was really excited about. So I think, you know, our timing is impeccable because people are starting to think about how dire, you know, this drought situation really is because they've received those specific notices. And so I think that all of these actions will help our community understand what the situation really is.
So with that, I will tell you, I was the one that made the choice not to do public comment tonight because I didn't know, I figured that people that would come into the session tonight would discuss their reasons for banning fireworks. And because we have just done that, I made the choice not to have public comment. I will leave it up to any one of you if you want to make a motion to open it up to public comment. I have, feel free, we have to do it through a motion. So if somebody wants to, I know that a few of you have expressed wanting public comment. So I gave it the reason, I'm telling you the reason that I thought people would just come in and want to say ban fireworks, and where we had already not had a public hearing and already banned fireworks. I just didn't think that it was necessary, but apparently we've had a lot of people reach out to us and want to do that. So if people feel the need to have that, please feel free to make a motion and we can put it on the agenda.
Vice Chair White, I just wanted to state that, I was one of those people that was encouraging that we have public comment, and I don't want to undermine leadership or other council members' feelings in any way by doing that. So I'd rather hear from others. You all know how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I was there with Councilmember Chaburka wanting public comment on the item. For me, it's not about receiving public comment after the fact as much as it was before the vote. So that time has passed. So it's all good. I appreciate everybody hearing my rationale and perspective, and I respect the will of the whole. Thank you.
Vice Chair White, I appreciate the emails that I've read, and that is an opportunity of those who want to give us suggestions and that, and we can receive those, or we can receive text messages also for their ideas and their comments, and even phone calls. And so I believe there are avenues for them to contact us about the ideas that they have, and I appreciate those ideas. A lot of programs are developed because of what we hear and what we receive from the comments, and so it's important to us to receive those comments through the means of email or phone or text.
There's about maybe 20 people online. So I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, you probably can see that as well. Nobody? Okay. With that, we will move on then to, there are no motions for public comment. We will move on to comments from the mayor.
Sure. I just want to thank you all for what we've done collectively. I want to thank our fire department for making these recommendations. I think that was pivotal in putting this forward. And this is an exceptional time for all of us. And it's important that we come together and we share information. And I want to appreciate Kevin and Shelby for really looking at what's happened in the last little while and looking at our conditions and making these recommendations. And we are fully supportive of our public safety department. Appreciate your support of their recommendations. I think it's critical that we do that. I don't pretend to be a professional on any of these. I want to have celebrations after the last year and a half that we've had, but I think they've been very selective in how they've looked at this and the recommendations they've given. I think they want to have the same kind of celebrations too, but I think this is the prudent thing to do. We've appreciated their advice, and that's something that we'll follow. And we appreciate you guys putting together and Vice Chair White, you did a lot of work to put this together. So did your council staff. Thank you for your efforts. I got probably 15 or 20 text messages today from everybody involved in this. And I think anybody that says this hasn't been thoroughly vetted and viewed and looked at, unfortunately, they don't have enough information. And I really do appreciate all of your diligence and willingness to listen to our constituents and to look at the conditions and take advice from the professionals. So Eric and Shelby, thank you very much for being here. I know some of our other people couldn't be here, but I know you've all talked at length about this, and I think it really matters. And thank you very much for everything you've done and for your recommendations.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members.
Vice Chair White,
Yeah,
if I can go really quick, I just want to echo your earlier comments. I just want to thank the mayor for his support. I gave my thanks to everybody already, but I want to thank him. Thank you, Mayor Caldwell. We appreciate your support.
thank you.
Vice Chair, if I could just make a final comment. As we're speaking, we just got a grass fire in Ogden, so ironic. But we wanted to say thank you very much for listening and for your support as well. We very much appreciate this.
Thank you, Chief.
Shelby, I thought you were going to say I have to go.
We're in trouble if I have to go.
I apologize. I do have another comment.
No, please.
I neglected to thank the constituents that have been reaching out to me over the past week or two about this issue, and just really appreciate their engagement. Those that were for, or maybe that had concerns and didn't want us to pass this resolution, I appreciate all of that engagement and just the community input, because it helps us to make the best decisions possible.
Thank you. Any other comments? I just want to, I too want to thank the staff. I probably have talked to Janine more in the last 24 hours than I have in the last 24 days. So I appreciate the staff. And this work doesn't get done. I know that a lot of people think that this happens just, we can turn these things on a dime, and it is not true. There are a lot of things. This is a complicated issue. There's a lot of complicated issues involving state code and local code and enforcement and all of that. And it's just, it's not an easy thing to turn it on a dime. And I think our staff reached out, did what they needed to do, and I appreciated that. And then also the administrative staff. So, you know, there are other cities right now struggling because their administration and their councils don't always see eye to eye. And I think that we all came together on this. So I really appreciate it. I just, you know, I have probably had as many people reach out to me as all of you have had. And it's very important to people this time of year. So I just want to say, make sure that you stay safe, and you know, just make sure that we're all looking out for each other through this holiday season. So with that, I don't have anything else unless anybody else has any other comments.
One last comment, Vice Chair White.
Only 3 minutes though.
My internet connection was very unstable earlier. I don't know if someone talked about, I'm concerned about doing enough communication about these resolution so that people know and understand. And you know, as I was talking to you, Acting Chair, I thought that a press conference would probably bring a lot of attention to something like this. And I'm just curious, and I would like to ask maybe the mayor or anybody to see if they have a plan for how to push this information out as fast as possible and as wide as possible.
Mayor, do you have a comment to that?
Sure, I'd be happy to comment to that. So part of our business licensing department puts signs in every single fireworks stand. And we will push this out on all of our social media and everything else. And we can do a press conference. We haven't found those to be overly effective. But we will push it to every single fireworks stand. Our police department knows about it. Our fire department knows about it. And we will push this on social media tirelessly for the next couple of weeks. And I've got a press conference actually in Salt Lake on Wednesday with the governor. It'll be me and the governor and the fire chief from Salt Lake City speaking about the critical nature of what we're working on right now in the entire Wasatch Front about this. So we could do our own standalone. I don't think it would be as effective as speaking with the governor, but we're working on that. You know, as you know, I'm president of the League of Cities and Towns, and they've asked me to come present along with the governor and one of the police chiefs or fire chiefs in Salt Lake City. So yeah, we're planning on that. We've been communicating and coordinating with a lot of the state agencies to put that message out in a big and a broad way. And I'm honored to be asked to speak with the governor about this in less than a week. So yeah, we've been talking about this a lot. Any comments to the contrary that we haven't been looking at this are completely false. That's something we've been very focused on, and we've looked at state law a lot. And so I'm looking at Mark Stratford and Gary Williams and some others that have been very involved in what we can and can't do legally. And we're very focused on putting the message out and trying to get people to act responsibly as we move forward.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I appreciate it.
If you'd like to come present at that press conference with the governor, I'd be happy to stand down and give you the opportunity, though.
Mayor, I can't feel those shoes literally and figuratively. Thank you.
That's not true. I just do want you to know that we've been talking about this a lot on not just our level, on multiple levels, and that's a plan that's been worked on for weeks. And so yeah, we have a lot of that.
I think your plan is really great, Mayor. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
All right, Mayor, are we going to use social media also from the city?
Oh yeah, every one of our channels will be used, and we've been pushing that out right now, and it'll be out tomorrow. And like I said, you know, going to speak with the governor is a whole different deal than just pushing it out to our friend groups and everything else. So we've appreciated the invite. We're honored to do it. And I think that will be the most effective thing we can do.
And hopefully we'll put it out in Spanish as well. Just try to on our social media sites as well.
We certainly will here. Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. Councilmember Nadolski, I think he keeps popping in and out.
I was just going to mention, I think we're going to be in good shape based on all the input we've all received, but also just taking a look at the attendees. There seems to be quite a bit of media in the attendee list as well. So I think word will spread quickly. And I was also willing to make a motion to adjourn if there's no other comments.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Nadolski, second by Councilmember Heyer to adjourn. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you guys for all your great work. Have a great night.